Active citizenship through social networks. Assessment of the credibility of information in social networks. Social networks represent the natural evolutionary process of man who, since his inception, seeks to communicate and learn easily and quickly. They are a technological answer to the dilemma of how to receive and exchange information in real time. Social media networks have changed the world and became a force that revolutionized history. Today, everyone is a journalist, reporter, editor, publisher. Business has settled into the global space of the internet. Communication has become easier than ever. Friends are people who do not know each other and have never seen each other, but share common interests and views, regardless of gender, skin color, and race. They comment and exchange experience in the online space. Communication is in another dimension, where connection is instantaneous and behavior is public, loaded as web page content absolutely voluntarily by the users themselves. Social networks can be defined as a building block in the creation of a new story, and this is largely due to their popularity and accessibility. Information comes from everywhere: true, false, rumors, truths, official, unofficial. It becomes increasingly difficult to navigate in the ocean of information, figures, and predictions. Psychology has methods to recognize who's telling the truth and who is lying in modern media. However, the author and his thoughts and gestures become hidden. This is why it is important that the modern reader can read carefully and make an informed choice to sort out the wheat from the chaff. Here comes the actual question: how to agree with everything written if we do not accept it, if we do not express ourselves, if we share information and knowledge that is not in the direction we work and develop. The social network, as a type of media, is a communication channel, a system that distributes information to users through web-based or mobile technologies, and the content offered can be either a text, a photo, or a video. As a result, an interactive dialogue is obtained on this thread. Analyzing the veracity of information disseminated on social media poses serious challenges stemming from the laconic, hard-to-determine, and highly contextualized nature. Threads that are spread like viruses by social media users are known as memes. These can be different ideas and rumors, patterns of behavior, types of content, and others. Critical thinking is a necessary step in this direction, since every user will inevitably encounter content that they doubt to trust. To avoid the spread of false information, especially in uncertain times, it is necessary for the media literate consumer to question what they see. Verification of the credibility of content on social media networks includes verification of the credibility of the source of information helps to maintain a checklist of organizations that the user trusts and checks frequently. Those that are not checked often but have some reputation, like local newspapers or TV stations outside the user's community or country, and those known to be parody sites, gossip sites, and known-for-profit fake news sites. Verification is the highest form of trust. Even if a post looks as it comes from a trusted source, verification is still your best bet that the post is not fraudulent. Does the broadcasted information come from news agencies that can be trusted? How many and which exactly? Do they cite reputable, named sources? Tags and hashtags are used in a number of social media networks. Tags are user-generated keywords for tags added to posts. Using tags makes it possible to search for related posts using the same tag, and because they are machine-readable, helps software applications automatically generate tag clouds or filter posts using the specified tag. Media literacy acquired in social networks relies on 5 main components: identify, discover, evaluate, apply, and validate. We also encounter a new type of literacy that brings together many literacies in one place: transliteracy, the ability to read, write, interact with, and analyze information received through a range of platforms, tools, and media, regardless of whether it is handwritten, spoken, or printed, or on television, the radio, in movies, digital social networks. Transliteracy does not replace but rather includes media and digital literacy. The dossier of an online source helps to assess the information sources used by answering guiding questions. Questions should meet the criteria by which we expect learners to evaluate the source. Completed source files may be attached to the final product to support source selection. As an example, under the credibility criterion, guiding questions might be: who is or who are the authors? Is it affiliated with an official institution? On the basis of relevance, a guiding question can be: does it give specific information on the question? And according to the time criterion, when was the website last updated? A source credibility scale. After each project or assignment, we write on sticky notes the names of the sources that the students used. We evaluate them along with them on credibility criteria, rank them, we stick them in the appropriate order on the wall, and this becomes our credibility scale of the sources. In subsequent assignments, we repeat this procedure, adding new sources to the scale. Gradually, we can delegate the completion of the scale entirely to the students and leave only the verification of the arrangement in our hands. This can be done by asking provocative questions and guiding students to argue for the ranking of sources. The idea behind this strategy is that students have a very quick way of determining whether a source is likely to be credible or not. The text should be a list of characteristics that indicate that an electronic source is more likely to be unreliable. If a source has more than 50% of these characteristics, it should send a strong signal to students not to trust the source. The advantage of this strategy is that it allows very fast source verification. The greatest impact would be if students were involved in creating this list after a period of researching credible and non-credible sources. Information literacy is a lifelong learning process, something that begins long before individuals start their education, and it develops in time with the process of growing up. While each skill is individually important, understanding how they fit together is essential to becoming a media literate person. In the era of globalization and rapid development of the information and communication sector, society more than ever needs to keep up with this rapid change and learn to handle the flow of information. At the same time, the media played the role of a strainer in determining the topics of the day, thus influencing the political agenda and everyday life. Media literacy is most often associated with developing competencies in the field of new technologies and includes the skills to properly understand the media as environment, means, and content. This broad set also includes media management, the skills for working with information and communication technologies. Skills for using the media for a variety of purposes and a variety of contexts. Skills for searching, verifying, and disseminating information. It also includes the competencies resulting from digital education and digital citizenship, terms often used as equivalent, although bearing quite a few differences. By creating your own content and media products, skills that contribute to a deeper understanding of the principles and value of professionally produced media content are required. The creation of media products involves a critical approach to this process, otherwise it is reduced to a purely technical operation. The specific objectives related to the formation of the habit of creating one's own media messages through the use of various media tools include ability to work with a computer, ability to navigate the internet on various digital media tools, advanced knowledge of the functionalities of the computer system, processing and presentation of information, skills for designing information through text, graphic, and video format, skills for designing documents with graphics on various topics, skills in designing, archiving, and reproducing computer documents. Media messages can be understood by using 4 process skills. Access means you can find, identify, and understand the information you need. The different media can provide information: newspapers, magazines, books, television, radio, the internet, and social media platforms. You need to determine the type of media that provides the information you're looking for. Analyze means that you can interpret and understand the components of a media message. Different media use different elements to convey messages, including colors, photos, art elements, font styles, camera angles, music, and sounds. Evaluate means that you can make judgments about the truth, accuracy, and relevance of media messages. Once you understand the other process skills, you will know how to use the right technology to create and distribute your own media messages. You can use the components and principles of media messages to convey your own ideas. Social networks have made it possible for each of us to have our own media. What is more, to be the media ourselves, to decide what you want to say, to whom, when, how, and why. Whether or not we are using the social media to promote content from our website or blog, or creating content specifically for social media, we need to be aware of some basic concepts and principles. The information we present should answer 5 basic questions: who, what, when, where, how, why. In journalism, these questions are known as the 5 W's. When we create a Facebook event, for example, we also respond to the 5 W's even without realizing it. The answer to the question, how, why, is in the details field, where it is clarified what exactly will happen and in what way. To be sure that our audience does not miss what we consider the most important, we always put it at the beginning of the text. This is the so-called reverse pyramid principle. The most important thing is always at the beginning, to make sure that even if at some point the reader stops reading or respectively the viewer stops looking, they will certainly have heard the important things. What comes after them is called context and background. They are also important because they help us to better understand why something happens, why now, why in this way. Regardless of whether we decide to announce information or express an opinion, the second step is always fact-checking. The first and most important task of any communicator is to make sure that they do not inadvertently deceive and mislead their audience. As for the intentional dissemination of false information, it can be called disinformation or propaganda. This does not include satirical content such as "Now, the news," but it should be clear to the audience that it is satire and not serious news. Facts are events that actually happened and any information that is verifiable and provable. Facts are also names of people, settlements, streets, institutions, dates and times, any numbers and data. Facts must be checked even when, especially when, they seem indisputable. Statements are opinions, not facts. For example, the Earth is round is a fact, scientifically proven. NASA lies that the Earth is round is a statement, opinion that is not based on facts and cannot be proved. Checklist questions. An attractive title, punchy, concise, short if the text is information. If it's an opinion, you can be more creative but not too much. The sooner you get to the essence of the topic, the more likely it is that more people will understand your point. Use accurate, verified facts. Do not use facts you're not sure of or you haven't checked. Do not present opinions as facts. If you use intellectual products created by other people, texts, images, their thoughts, quote them. Anything else is called plagiarism. Language and style should be appropriate to the audience to whom the message is directed. It is always good to avoid extremes, too complex and overwhelmed with terms language or too colloquial, even slangy. Compliance with grammar and spelling rules is mandatory, even on social networks. Avoid long titles that are unreadable when shared on social networks, as well as titles that do not make the text topic clear. Do not use hooks to attract the audience like shock, sensation, and hurt, which repel rather than attract attention. Unacceptable are hate speech, plagiarism, and lying. The podcast is the youngest media and the most dynamically developing. One of the main reasons for this is the internet revolution at the turn of the century, when video sharing websites like YouTube, free music downloads became popular. The podcast arose because of the dynamics of our daily lives and the need for information that we can absorb without putting our full attention on it. It is the successor of the classic radio, and one of its many advantages is that you can listen to podcasts both while traveling, doing homework, and a bunch of other things that require mainly physical commitment. The effectiveness of the podcast, as extremely accessible and understandable, should not be underestimated either. If it delves into a deeper topic, you could say it's a modern form of Plato's dialogues, only instead of being on paper, you have them recorded and you can listen to them with greater convenience. All this is possible thanks to websites like YouTube and dedicated platforms and applications, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Spotify. How to make a podcast in a few steps. Figure out what you're going to talk about. Content is the most important thing for a podcast. The difference between an interview written on your blog and a conversation on a podcast is that the latter can be longer, more in-depth, and more emotional. Figuratively speaking, it can resemble a conversation between friends in the living room, but sound like it was recorded in a fully professional studio. Or it can sound like a Hollywood production with special effects. In both cases, however, the sound must be good, balanced, and the words flow smoothly. Equipment is important, but preparation is really important to prepare for the recording. If you're going to talk alone, think about the plot of your material, about how you will tell an engaging and competent story. Also think about what your listeners will learn or experience. How to reach our audience. The first way is distribution through a personal domain. The authors of the show create a website to which an RSS feed is generated. The feed is linked to the distribution platforms, making the podcast practically listenable from anywhere. The distribution method ensures copyright integrity of the transmission and is preferred by most major content creators. The second method uses content hosting platforms like SoundCloud and Anchor. Using them for a certain monthly fee or for free, authors can upload and distribute content. However, this is where the copyright issue comes in. As an example, we will suggest the Anchor platform, in whose terms of use is mentioned that the rights to the podcast created and distributed through it belong to the platform itself and not to their author. Mark Zuckerberg says that the video is the future, and we couldn't agree more. A video is emotion. That makes videos so influential and popular on the social networks. It can make the user smile, it can shock or surprise them, make them angry, make them think, calm them down, make them sad, or even make them cry. You can name numerous examples of videos telling the story of a person in need, followed by hundreds of responses offering help. That's the power of the video. Accompanied by facts, it gives the viewer an emotion and does not leave him indifferent. First comes the idea. The ideas for a video are all around us. They can dawn on you while you're talking with friends, during a walk, or simply while watching another video. You can tell someone's story, tell about a problem, or explain how to do something. You can video record yourself talking about a topic, or you can record an event, and much more. The preparation includes research that you conduct on what or who you're going to photograph. You can research a preliminary conversation with the person or persons if you're going to film people. You need to be acquainted with the idea and the purpose of the video in advance. What do you want us to say? What do you want us to show? Who will speak? You arrange the day and time. You make sure that the battery of the phone is charged. The photo captures the moment, the video captures the action. You need equipment: phone, camera, action camera, a tripod. The format is HD 16:9 ratio. Different plans include general plan, a complete image, medium shot from the face to the waist, close up, the head only, and detail plan, an eye or a hand. Framing. The golden ratio rule, a term in fine art dating back to the Renaissance and carried over into photography. The frame or picture is divided by 4 lines horizontally and vertically. The result, 6 fields of equal area each. In the shooting process, plans are alternated. Each shot should not be shorter than 10 seconds. Alternate static shots with motion shots. Use panorama, general picture, landscape. The movement starts from left to right slowly. You have to capture the place where the action is taking place through frames. And now it's time for your video or podcast to reach as many people as possible. How to accomplish that? By using the most popular platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Communication technologies help to transform the media system, but the invention of the internet and its massive spread into life are disrupting the status quo in all spheres of human life very quickly. Innovations are being introduced at an extraordinarily fast pace, and the summation of all current events is in the context of the new. New media, new technologies, new culture, new realities. A popular method of shaping and improving media literacy is the flipped classroom approach. It involves active preliminary work to explore and familiarize students